Hey guys, Fragmansaul here, and in this video I want to talk about your CPU and specifically about people that probably don't know or haven't realized that their CPU might be running at a default clock speed, factory default clock speed, which is a very safe speed. Your PC will run and it will run fine, but you're not getting the maximum amount of performance from your CPU, especially performance that you paid for. Now, when you buy a CPU, if you're building a PC and you put it in your motherboard will run it at a sort of like set factory default speed. It's kind of like a safe mode, so to speak. And what I want to do is show you how to take it off safe mode and run it at basically the speed that you paid for. This will depend on what CPU you bought. If you bought a K series on Intel, for example, those CPUs are designed to be overclocked, and you should be overclocking those CPUs. If you haven't got a K series, you can still change the BIOS to run it at the speed at which it's sent. For example, my wife has got a 3.4 gigahertz CPU up in her PC. It's not a K series, but all I've done is change the RAM timings to XMP, which is what we're going to talk about, and that will that increased hers from a 3.4 to a 3.5. It's only 0.1, but it is a noticeable difference, and it runs a lot. I'd say a lot quicker, but it runs quicker. And if you are streaming, for example, you want to be getting the most amount of speed from your CPU. Now, guys, if you want to talk about this with me when I'm live, you can come to my stream over on twitch.tv/Fragmansaul. I stream Tuesdays to Saturdays from 7:30 p.m. GMT. Or you can comment in the section down below. I'm very happy to get back to you, but generally these things are quite easy to talk to you, kind of like live, so to speak, so you can keep firing questions to me. Up to you anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do in this video is run 4 tests. We're going to run the basic default speed, and I'm going to do this on my game PC as well. I've got a 6850K Intel i7 processor. It's 4 years old, going 4.5 years old. It still runs very well. And we're going to do the test tool on this. So we're going to go into the BIOS, and we're going to set the BIOS to default mode and run the CPU at default mode to get a timings and a score using Cinebench. Then I'm going to run it. Test 2 is with XMP. Now this XMP is the is all what this video is all about, really. Setting your timings to XMP, and then it's a really safe overclock. You don't have to worry about doing anything else. So XMP for me basically ups my my CPU from a 3.7 gigahertz to 4 gigahertz. I'm going to test that score on that. So we're going to have the test between default and then XMP. Then we're going to do XMP up to 4.2 gigahertz, which I know I can get out of my system. And then I'm going to get rid of XMP and do a kind of like mild overclock test at 4.4 gigahertz. I'm going to test the speeds out of that. So 4 tests. First 2 are the important 2. The second 2 are a little bit of fun. And hopefully you'll see the speed increase. And I'm really hopeful that you guys can get a decent speed increase out of your CPU and basically run it for what you paid for. You know, you paid this good money for your CPU, and I want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. So for the purpose of this video, I have reset my BIOS for my my game PC, the one that we're going to look at with the clock speeds and stuff. F1 to enter into BIOS, and I am presented with this screen here. And you can see at the moment it is running at 3.6 gigahertz. This is on the right hand side here. The frequency of my memory is 2133, and this is kind of like the default speeds of my computer at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is this will be the first test. The second test, I'm going to do XMP. So I've gone down to manual and then clicked on XMP, and that is it. This is setting the RAM timings, the DDR4 RAM, to 3200. And by doing so, we'll increase the clock speed of the core ratio to 4 gigahertz as well. So that basically is test number 2. Test number 3, I'm going to increase the core ratio limit to all my cores to 4.2 because I know that works. And then so that's test 3, and then test 4, I'm going to take it off XMP mode, go into manual mode, and I am going to run it at 4.4, but my RAM timings, I'm going to stick on auto. So that'll be test 4. Okay. So I'm not going to change anything else with that. I'm just going to do those 3 things. So XMP and change the core ratio limit. And that is it. If it doesn't work, remember your PC will not turn on or it will crash. That's fine. Just reset the BIOS, come back in and change it around again. So I'm using Cinebench to test the CPU. This is a free program you can download off the internet. I'll link it in the description down below. And you can see there's 4 different tests going on at this time. Top left is out of the box speed, 3.7 gigahertz with the RAM speed set to 2133. Then test 2 is on the top right, which is XMP but with no change. That's 4 gigahertz with the RAM set at 3200. Bottom left, we've got XMP plus the 0.2 gigahertz, so 4.2 gigahertz with the RAM set at 3200. And then bottom right is going to be test 4. This is going to be CPU heavy with 4.4 gigahertz processor CPU and the RAM speed at 2133. As you can see, the bottom right is scored a 3097, which is pretty good. Bottom left is 2970. Top right is 2862. And then stock speed is still going at the moment. And that is going to be just still waiting. Here it goes. It's going to be 2491. So you can see the massive improvement out of that. From basic out of the box 2491 to just doing XMP is 2862. That's a huge difference for just doing one change. I would highly recommend, if you're not bothered about going too heavy in the clock speeds later on, like test 3 and 4, that you just keep the XMP and just unlock the potential of your CPU. So that's it for this video, guys. If you got any questions, feel free to post them down in the comment section down below. I'll get back to you. I'm happy to talk CPUs. Quite enjoy this sort of tech stuff. You can come talk to me live as well, 7:30 p.m. GMT, Tuesdays to Saturdays over on twitch.tv/Fragmansaul. And yeah, if you want any more sort of tech hints and tip videos, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, guys. Fragman out.